Yo, what up YouTube fam? Welcome back to the channel, Discin Deals Coverage. My name's Lucas. Today you're going to get to watch me compete in a tournament. Yeah, I played. I played the Cessna Classic in Wichita, Kansas, and let's see how I did. Action here. Starting on hole 5, 286 feet. You just want to get this flat. I like to play the skip shot, so I'm throwing a felon. This one is a little early, but I'm going to be right inside circle 1. Tester putt to start the day. Was able to cash it in, and we're one down on the round. Danny G giving me a little love. There's a couple options you can take on hole 6. It's 324 feet. I like the straight hyzer with a light fade at the end. I'm throwing in my beat-in Firebird. Hoping for a little bit of ground skip, and we get it. So we'll be, again, around circle's edge for another putt for the birdie. And right there, in the heart, feeling good. 2 down through 2. Hole 7 is 230 feet. The sidewalk plays OB the entire way, creek on the left-hand side. I don't trust my forehand, so I'm throwing just a Mako, powering down on it a little bit just to get the turn, making sure I spin it, and we're going to be fairly close on the hillside, so the footing's a little bit uncomfortable. I put that a little high, but the chains catch it, and we're looking pretty good to start this tournament out. Must be that shirt I'm wearing. Hole 8, 400 feet. It's way down there. I'm throwing a Hades. I don't get the turn that I want completely. This hyzer's out a little bit, but it's down there. I usually can't get this one, so as long as I hit that initial gap, I'm in a good spot. Pitching up here with my putter, the Roach, and just trying to escape with a 3 here. And I make that one. Struggled on the mini pickup. Now we're moving into hole 9, 340 feet. This is a very specific line. I like to take the penetrating hyzer. Because of the low ceiling trees, you have to make sure you get this low enough that you get through one of those gaps in the trees and try to get a skip. My skip may have been too good because look at me now, I'm in the trees. Trying to make this as legal as possible. And was able to put that in. And that was nice to get. Hole number 10. Usually places the double mando, but it doesn't in this tournament. This guy was on the bench, was kind of in my head, but I tried not to let it bother me. Threw an instinct up here. This is the Royal Rage. It plays a little bit more uphill. Wanted to make sure I got my line. And we parked it again, put it in, and we're 5 down through 6. Going into a very tough hole 11. This is really a sucker play. It was a right to left wind, and I put a little bit too much ante on this, so it was never able to come back. Ideally, I like to skip off the road, but I'm way out in the parking lot. Here is a upshot with the Berg from the drop zone, and we're going to get out of here with a bogey, unfortunately. I could have played it safe, but I didn't. I was off to a hot start, so I got a little bit greedy. Giving Seth a hard time. Hole 12, 297 feet. I like to take something a little understable, put some hyzer on it, and just let it slowly pan to the basket. I flirted with the trees. That was the ideal line. I'm super pumped about that one. And yep, that's a buzz. Another chance here, and I'm able to put that in. And that's a good bounce back from an unforced error with the bogey. Hole 13, 282 feet. Usually there's a Mando here, but not playing in this tournament either. I take an eagle, kind of power down, just make sure I get it close. That's another great shot. I am feeling super confident right now. And Travis is there giving me lots of whistles today. It's nice to have a buddy on the card. And I'm already thinking about the next shot, testing the wind. Hole 14, 310 feet. I like to take a high spike hyzer. That was a little bit lower than I wanted, but I got through. Super lucky. Through the onyx there. Have another chance for a birdie. And able to capitalize again. We know we're shooting good. Hole 15 is 350 feet. I'm going to take a grace here, try to flip it up to flat, and then let it hyzer in at the end. The first part's perfect. This gets a little bit too flat and doesn't give me the fade that I want at the end.
What was that?
A grace.
So I'm going to get stuck behind this tree here.
I'll go ahead.
First step put of the round. And just a little low. Face mask that one. Travis just had a good shot, so I gave him a little booty tap. Put it in for 3 and moving on to the next. 300 feet here, hole 16. I like to go over the top. This one's a little bit left, way more than I wanted it to be. I need to get that a little wider. So I have another step putt. And usually I love being here, but something felt a little off this day. Yeah, I'm missing low. And it's kind of a theme today, me missing low. I'm just not getting my nose up, playing a little tentative when I'm outside of the circle. Wanted to make sure I don't have a crazy comeback. Hole 17 is just straight ahead, 328. Throwing that same straight Firebird. Get a little flip up. And this one doesn't skip too terribly bad, so that's why we throw it. We want to be close.
Thank you.
Trying to put another one home. Let's go. Putt's looking good. Probably the most confident part of my game is my putting. Hole 18, I take a felon. I love the skip shot. This was pushed perfectly. Got the skip. And we're right there. And with 3 holes to play, we are 9 under. Hole 1, 324 feet. It's right straight ahead, but you do have a down slope as you get close to the basket. I throw an instinct here, and I'm not going to be able to see that down slope because I don't get there. So I'm just going to pitch up with the Berg, try to get it really close. I love how that disc dies. And we should be able to pitch home a par. All right, and I know how hot I'm shooting. I feel it. So going into hole 2, the goal is just to get out the gap, and we're in a good spot. 350 feet on the left-hand side.
Lucas!
And I'm upset. And I luckily stayed in bounds. There's a creek right there, but I don't have any type of shot. Just trying to get out. Throw a Mako out just to get out in the open, and hopefully I can get a good approach up here. I'm still about 270 feet away. That's how bad the shots were. So this is my 3rd shot. I'm taking a verdict. And I'm right there. A little bit shorter than I'd like to be. Well, I guess that's better than I thought. But still bleeding a stroke there that I shouldn't have. Just get out the gap. And going into what was just recently voted on as the best hole 3 in the Wichita area, there's a lot of plays you can make. I'm not going to do anything crazy. I don't have the forehand to get there all the way through, so I'm just taking a Berg, going right up the middle, and then taking another berg. And for me, this is a par. You do have some trees to contend with here, and I hit one, but as long as you penetrate through the trees a tad bit, you're going to have a look. I have about a 25-footer here, and I'm able to put that home. So we're going into our last hole, sitting at 8 down. Hole 4 is one that you want to birdie every single time, so I know I can make up a stroke here. 248 feet, and I'm just taking a gator 3 here, making sure I spin it, get that skip, and I got a good skip, and we're going to be pretty close.
Now you good, homie? Give me a sec.
And we were able to make it. That's a 9 down. Really excited about that round. Actually the best round of my disc golf life. Let's take a peek at that now. So there it is, 1,004 rated, 9 down. Wish I would have just got out the gap on hole 2. Maybe not got as greedy on hole 11, but I am not unhappy for the highest rated round of my career. That's going to put me in first place by 5 strokes. So I know going into the final round, I just need to play safe. And unless someone shoots extremely crazy and hot, I'm going to be looking pretty good. Let's jump into round 2 right now. And we get to start right at hole 2. My nemesis. All I want to do is hit the gap. Hey, I'm able to do it. This is a good shot. Ooh, get a little kick left. I have a lot of trees to contend with here. You can hear it. Clip some of the branches on the way out. But I'm improving from the first round, getting a par, getting on out of there. Moving into hole 3, 295 feet. You saw my play the first round. Just up the gut with a berg. Keep it safe. Then a little pitch up with the berg here, and escape with a par. And that's always my play on this hole. I just can't get the birdie, and every time I try, I make it a lot worse than a par. Here's hole 4. This is the one that we always want to get. Must get birdie in my mind. 248 feet. Taking my gator 3. This was a little inside, but the line was ideal. You just couldn't see because of my large body. And that was pretty parked. And you can hear Travis doing his horn noises the whole time. It's so good to have a buddy hyping you up the entire time. He got to play with me both rounds, and I was super happy about it. I'm double checking that everyone's clear. They are. Hole 5 is 286 feet. Taking a felon here. This was way too wide, way too low. And I'm not happy with the shot. Here's a step putt opportunity. And holy moly, here comes a probable trend on the step putts. Knowing I have a lead, playing with the lead is such a different mentality that you have to have. Hole 6, 324. Taking a Firebird like I did first round. This one was the inside gap. I let it go a little early. Got a good skip up around the tree. Right by the road, you can hear how loud it is. Another step putt opportunity. I thought that one was in. Little right. But we'll take our par and get out of there. Hole 7, 230 feet. A little bit of a headwind here. Taking my Mako 3. I like that turnover play. This one I juice and get a little too into it. Great line, but past the basket. And now I'm going to have to straddle step putt, and this is not pretty. Just can't quite get the height. I will say my nose angle all day on those step putts was just a little low. I think playing with the lead just made me super, super cautious around the green so I wouldn't have any big comebacks. Hole 8's 400 feet. I take my Hades. This got the better turn that I wanted, so this is more so what I'm looking at. It's still hyzered out a little bit, but we're down there. And my idea is to hit middle every time I'm step putting. Ideally, it goes in, but if I'm hitting basket, bottom of the pole, I'm in a good spot. Hole 9, this is the one we want to push through the gap in the trees. Just pick a gap, 340 feet. I'm throwing my Onyx. Get a decent skip. We'll be around 25, 30 feet here. We've putted well inside the circle all day. Can we continue our hot streak? Again, a little right side. I don't blame the basket. A lot of people always say, oh, veterans this, or oh, this basket this. I just got to hit it in the heart. Just got to hit it in the heart, and I was a little right side. So we'll take a par there. Hole 11, 284 feet. We don't have the guy on the bench this time, but I just hyzer it out. Gonna have another step put opportunity. Just a little off, like I said. You can tell my big old body is getting pretty fatigued at this point. It is very hot out. So I'm just trying to power through. I was out here all day the day before, caddying for my brother, and I have a huge sunburn. Hole 11, 408 feet. I tell myself, do not go in the parking lot. I don't practice the layup play, so I just took something more overstable, played the same play as I would have last time. But I'm in these trees, so I'm doing something I'm not comfortable with, which is a pitch out forehand with a berg. Not the worst thing I've ever seen, but maybe close to the worst thing. But we take the par. Again, Travis is amazing, but we're not taking bogeys. That's the big thing. Hole 12, we get the buzz a little high. We don't push this straight enough. We got it high. Again, we didn't want to mess with the trees. We knew we had a lead. Take the step putt instead. Hitting some chain. We're happy. That was 50 feet at least. Taking another par. Then we're coming into a stretch of holes that you want a birdie for sure. This one you'd really like to get. Taking my eagle. Same play as the first round. This one's a tad bit lower. But we got the skip up. Sometimes that creek can mess with the skip. We're able to capitalize with the birdie there. And at this point, I do look at the scores. I see that there's only one player shooting hot. That's Dan, and he's on the chase card. So I feel like I'm in a good position here. Same line as the first round with the Onyx over the trees. I do want to get that a little bit higher. I'm flirting with those trees too much, but I will take a birdie anytime I can get a birdie. And here we're having a conversation with this gentleman about stepping through. This is actually his very first tournament. So inside the circle, he was just stepping through his putt, so we had to have a conversation just so he understood. Help your card mates out. Don't call them on everything. This is a long hole. Through my grace. Step putt action. Finally got one to go. You could hear Daniel George saying there it is. He was encouraging me all day. It was nice. Hole 16, 300 feet. I'm taking eagle this time. The Firebird went way too left. This has a good shape, but this one just went too far. Ooh, good kick there. We'll take another par. Move on to hole 17, 328 feet. Taking the Firebird. I like to just throw this one flat, let it fade back. And that is ideal.
Hey, look at his mini.
And then I was wanting to show off Daniel George's mini here, Cobra Kai.
Kai?
Hole 18, 285. I take the wide hyzer route with my felon. I wanted to push this one straight. I got a little bit too much hyzer angle, and again, I'm tired, so just things aren't completely working. A lot of change with these. You feel good about that in a tournament. Travis hit me with the fake out. And off to hole 1, our last hole of the day of the tournament. I look at the scoreboard. I have a 5-stroke lead. I just need to get down here, get a par, and escape.
We just want it down there, uphill.
Really shove that down there. Jump putting with the berg just so it sticks. And then I'm going to tap in for a Cessna Classic win. The card was awesome.
Yeah, get the 2 people clapping, babe. Thank you.
And let's take a final peek here at the leaderboard. 2023 Cessna Classic champion. I shot a 5 down. Dan Millard, I actually don't know how to say his name, shot 7 under, great round there. And my rating was a 954 that round, but the biggest thing was I did not want to bogey. I was able to accomplish that feat. If you enjoyed this, please check out some of my other content. As always, take care of yourself. Bye-bye now.